so now we're to the section on picking your line to the first turn. We've gone over concrete starts, dirt starts, the technique, all the specifics about what to do, what not to do, how to pick a gate if there's a rut, if there's mud, all these different things, but we've never really talked about what line to pick going into the first turn, okay? So as you see here from my Picasso drawing, that we have somewhat of a start line, and most starts are going to your left because the brake's on your right-hand side. So this one's a sweeper here, and if I have first pick on the gate, which I like to do, I like to try to have the straightest shot to the first turn, so saying maybe from this gate here would be the straightest shot from here, right here, like this, then I don't have to hit the brakes that much because it's a straight shot. Now if I came from here, I'd have to come here, hit the brakes more to cut more inside, okay? But now you're saying, all right, well if I'm not confident in my starts, well you probably don't want to line out maybe more to the outside. Why? Because everybody's going to push out wide. If people are going to push out wide, well then you're going to get stuck in all that traffic, and you might want to maybe come a little bit more inside, like this one, come inside, hit your brakes a little bit early while all these guys push out wide here, and then you can tuck inside and maybe miss a pile up or whatever, or get inside because now these guys are covering a lot more track from going out wide. Again, you're going to have to look at the gate back here if there's a good line, or if there's any mud up in here. If there's mud up in there, well then you need to kind of change your gate pick. So to me, this would be always the best pick if you're confident in your starts. If you're not, well then you might want to stick a little bit more inside. But whenever if you have to chop the gas early, then everybody's going to go right by you. So this would be the best way for probably a sweeper. And again, a lot of people from Europe and stuff, they always like to start inside, but it's because they want to stay away from maybe that mayhem that can start in the first turn. Because a sweeper, you crash in a sweeper going third gear, it's a big one. So, look at that, look at the straightest shot, then you can usually come into the corner with the most speed on the sweepers. Okay, another one of my Picasso drawings. This one would be a 90, let's say a 180. They're all I would line up the same place on that. So on a 90 or 180, you want to line up maybe more on the inside to hug this, okay? So if you came here, you could hug the inside here, and compared to this guy that has to go all the way out here, he's covering so much more track. He just made his start line longer. But the other thing too is there's always a lot of crashes through here too on the inside because everybody brakes and gets piled up, so you have to be a little bit careful. And again, you're always checking these lines out here, checking behind it to see, what's the best line that I can get a good jump and be as consistent as I can past the gate. All right, so for me, more inside would be best. Not too far. Like if you're coming from here, let's say at the Paula National, you got to come here and then start going that way to even get to the inside. So now you're kind of covering more track and going the opposite direction. So I would, maybe from here to here would be my pick right there. Okay. Now let's say I got a bad start or a bad pick or whatever it is, and I have to start way outside, okay? And there's a couple things that you can do, all right? So if everybody's coming out of here and they're coming in this first turn and it's a 180 or a 90, everybody's going to push wide again, okay, through here. So if I'm out here, well, I'm just going to get stuck with everybody going out wide. So sometimes you might want to and I've seen it happen before, let everybody go, and then you come straight across here behind everybody, then you're inside while everybody's pushing out wide, and you can kind of cut underneath them, okay? It's very risky, but I've seen it happen, and I've done it myself by, okay, there's no way I'm going to get a good start because I got a bad pick on the gate. Everybody jumps out of there, and I jump out, I hit my brakes, and then I shoot across the start line to get to that inside because everybody's going to push out wide and usually get in a crash, and I can start tucking to the inside and maybe come out mid-pack instead of dead last. So that's something to think about, but it's very risky, Just giving you some hints here. But again, I would say from this point to the inside to this point would probably be, maybe the best shot for a 180 or a 90. Once you get out wide, it's a little bit risky. On a sweeper, you can go a little bit wide because you can hold it in the first turn a little bit longer than let's say a 90 would be. So, if you get a bad start, the biggest thing is when people are going through the first turn, what happens is everybody wants to be defensive, meaning by, okay, I just got to get through the first turn, but you're missing these gaps, you're missing these holes, and you're just trying to be very protective, and okay, I just got to get through the first turn and then get on with my race. But when you're riding defensively, it's so easy for someone to clip your front wheel or back wheel or whatever because you're not riding offensively and going for these little holes that have opened up. So for me, I like to go into the first turn very aggressive. If there's a hole, I'm going to hit it. It's just like, if anybody's driving a car, if you're old enough to drive cars, on the freeway, if you're always waiting for someone to make their move, you're going to get stuck behind them. If you see gaps, you have to go for it. And it's the same thing going into the first turn. If all these people are going into the first turn, well, I'm going to hold it on just a little bit longer. If I'm stuck in the middle of the pack, I'm going to kind of shoot for these little bit of gaps and not wait for someone to make their move. Because if I'm waiting for someone to make their move, then I have to make my move off them. And usually it ends up wrong. When you ride defensive, usually what you want to happen doesn't happen. If you're riding offensively, what you want to happen happens, okay? And that's an offensive mind, and that's the way you need to be racing too, is an offensive mind is shooting for these holes, shooting for these gaps, making these passes, and not waiting for things, because when you wait, well, usually you get the end of the stick. Yeah. So hopefully this helps a little bit. It's kind of fourth grade drawing, but I think just, we never touched on where do I line up on the line for a 180 or a sweeper. So hopefully that helped a lot, and hopefully we make your starts a lot better. I think if you follow all the techniques that we do and practice, your starts will improve a lot. I've had very good luck with the technique that I teach, from all the top pros to amateurs to women to whoever it is. And I think definitely that you're going to have a lot better race, because the first race controls the second race, and the first race is the start. So good luck.